Hey everyone, it's Lawrence Mack here, real estate broker out of Mississauga and Toronto and founder of Real Estate Rookies. And I'm here with Jessica Lenouvel, the founder of the Listings Lab. Hey Jessica, how you doing?
I am fantastic. How are you?
I'm amazing, especially now that we're able to connect. So today we're going to talk about what are we talking about?
We are going to go through the 3 steps to getting consistent clients on social media. The reason why we decided that this one was going to be a good fit is because social media for a lot of agents is this kind of elusive thing where they know that it can create a lot of, momentum and bring in a lot of clients, or it does that for other people. But so many agents are like, I don't know how to do it, or I've been posting on my social media for a year and nothing's come from it. And, the conversations that I have on a regular basis are, I just don't know what to do. I don't know what to post. I want a strategy of some sort that makes sense, that is going to, not waste my time, because agents don't have a tremendous amount of free time, especially when you're, newer in the business and you're trying to build something. So I've never been like a big cold caller, door knocker, that kind of thing. So everything that we're going to talk about is going to be digitally focused. I am going to focus on Facebook for the most part today, but everything that I talk about can easily be also replicated on other platforms. And I'll talk a little bit in a minute about which platforms you should be focusing on based on who you want to target. So yeah, let's get into it.
Sounds great. So she's just going to take it away. Just quickly, this is also her new book.
Yay!
More Money, Less Hustle. I think I bought it like the first day it was out. It's very, very good. You definitely should get it, everybody. I'm going to remove myself from the video, but I'll be here monitoring the chats and the questions, and we'll leave that till the end, and then we'll ask her. Okay, sounds
awesome.
Great. Take it away, Jess.
Thank you. Okay, so if you're watching this either on a replay or you're here watching it right now, this is really, I start every training this way. Eliminate as many distractions as you can. Be as present as you possibly can, because just like anything else, this could be the training that absolutely changes the game for you. And you're like, oh my gosh, I've added an extra 6 figures to my business this year because of this one training, because I paid attention. Or it can be just another one that you sit through. We've all sat through a million Zoom trainings in the last 2.5 years. So really kind of make the decision in terms of how you're going to watch this. If you're distracted or you're working on something else, maybe what you want to do is actually just save this and come back to it when you can actually fully focus. So I'm going to give you everything I can in the time we have together. I promise I will do my best not to go over like about 45 minutes. And my email is open. I know Lawrence has the chat open. Like, you guys can ask all these questions and we'll do some Q&A at the end. This training is specifically designed for real estate agents who want to leverage social media to grow. They don't want to cold call and door knock. Can you do it in conjunction with? Sure. But I've always been I've always been of the mind that I want to make things as efficient as possible, not only for me, but also for anybody that we work with. Maybe you've been trying to figure out social media. It can be super overwhelming, absolutely. But what you're doing or what you're currently posting isn't really getting you the clients that you were hoping that it would. Action takers are always going to see the best results from anything. Doesn't matter if it's this training or any other training. If you take action and you do it quickly, you'll always see results fastest, and you'll get the feedback of whether it's working or whether it's not, or how it's being received really quickly. So all of this is going to lead to this one unpopular truth, which is if you're not able to develop a consistent and predictable marketing strategy that generates high quality, high caliber clients on a consistent basis, that you're always going to feel like you're stuck inside of a business that's spinning its wheels and is, stressful and overwhelming. This may surprise you, but it doesn't matter how much you use social media now. If you have it, and if it's something that if you have a Facebook period, you have 10 to 15 clients sitting in your warm social media right now. This is super conservative. So this could surprise you, but it's really just about what you're going to put in front of them and what's going to be the best, the thing that's actually going to turn these people from strangers or from just random contacts into people who see you as an expert and, see how you're taking your knowledge, your wisdom, your expertise, and turning into clients who want to work with you. Everything we're going to talk about today is organic. So I'm not going to get into a whole bunch of paid traffic or anything like that, but we're also going to touch on how to craft your marketing and your messaging so that you're really going after that top 5% of people who are ready, willing, and excited to work with you. So all of this is going to feel good, promise, right? I don't teach anything that feels yucky, or I don't teach scarcity marketing or manipulative marketing or anything like that. This is going to feel good. So everything we're going to talk about today is really just how to take who you are and what you do and what you know and turn it into something that's going to be helpful for you. And I will send this to Lawrence after we do this. So anybody who wants this can ask for it. I'm going to give you the list of exact questions that you want to ask your ideal clients to get their pains and problems so that you can craft this marketing messaging. And I'll explain in a couple of minutes why that's so important. So let's go through this. Oh, and for those of you who don't know who I am, which is probably quite a few of you, I myself had a multi-7-figure business selling real estate in the greater Toronto area. I sold real estate for 14 years. Since then, the last 5 years, I've helped over 1,000 agents craft their messaging and their marketing from social media. Forbes and Entrepreneur Magazine come to me when they need social media advice and expertise for their publications. I have spoken on many, many, many stages. And I built my business originally in 2005 on Facebook, when Facebook was a brand new, a lot less functional platform than it is now. I am also super introverted. So if you're someone who's relatively shy or doesn't have, 1,000,000 pounds of energy that is available at all times, then, this is also going to be really attractive to you because you're able to leverage the energy that you do have to reach many people as opposed to having to use it one-on-one. So let's get into it. 3 steps to getting consistent clients from social media. These are the 3 steps that we're going to go through, and we're going to go through them in a lot more detail. So number 1, you have your social profile funnel. Number 2, you have your client-centric messaging. And number 3 is your captivating and convincing content. We're going to start with the effective social media profile funnel. And I'm going to go through and dissect this so that you really, really know how this is going to work the best. So this is this is Ashley's. Oops. For some reason that stopped sharing. Okay, cool. So this is Ashley's. I'm going to kind of dissect hers in a second. But before we get to that, there is a lot of people on Facebook, especially in real estate, who their profile looks a little bit like this. It's not really giving us anything. It's not really allowing us to really see them in a way that we need to. So, we're going to break it down and kind of show you what to do instead. Your Facebook personal profile. So that's what we're talking about today. And we're not talking about your business page, because your business page actually has the lowest organic reach out of any social media platform out there. And here's the reason why. Facebook is a business. As soon as you tell Facebook, I'm also a business, then what does Facebook want to do? Well, they want to do business with you. They want you to pay to play. So that's why when you post something on your personal profile and then you post it on your business page, your personal profile gets so much more organic reach. It's not because people aren't interested in what you're posting on your Facebook business page. It's that organically the reach has been killed because there's no money behind it. Now, please don't misinterpret that and think that you have to boost posts. I would rather you just put money in a shoe and lit it on fire if you are going to boost posts. So we're going to talk about what to do instead and how to use your personal profile to really, really generate a lot more organic business. And people are watching. We are all social media lurkers to a certain extent. So we really just want to put in front of people what they need to see. So here's how we break it down from a social profile funnel approach. There are 4 basic components to a really effective Facebook profile. I'm going to start with the profile banner with a call to action. This can also be called your cover photo. Your cover photo is probably the least well-utilized place on most people's social media, and especially on people's personal Facebook. This is the largest piece of real estate that you have on your profile, but it's also the one that people, I guess, take the most effort or, spend the least amount of time on. when it actually should be the opposite. So what you want in your profile banner or in your cover photo are the following. You want a photo of you, something relaxed, something where you're speaking to or being able to resonate with whoever it is that your target demographic is, because that is going to be really, really important. So a picture of you can see here, Ashley, the example that we have here. Ashley works with growing families. So her profile, her cover photo is a picture of her and baby Jax. She has since this photo had another baby. And so this is really going to help her growing family niche connect with her. So a large photo of you, hopefully not a headshot. Headshots really don't perform particularly well on social media in general. The other thing that you want to have in here is a value proposition statement, which is going to be used in two different places. So your value prop statement is, I'm going to drop it in the chat here, and then maybe Lawrence can also drop it for anybody who's watching on Facebook. It is, I help who achieve what using name of your methodology. So what it allows you to do is actually tell people directly, this is who I am, this is what I do, this is what I use, and it provides a lot more value than a tagline. For the last maybe 5 years or so, taglines have really kind of gone out, and value proposition statements have replaced them. So in this example, Ashley says, using my alignment method, I help growing families in Metro Detroit find their dream home. It's very concise. It tells you who she is, where she is, the name of her methodology, and what she helps, who she helps do what. The last thing that you want on your profile banner or your cover photo is a call to action. So you can see up here in the top left-hand corner, we have a call to action here that says, click to download my free guide. Now, this is going to lead to a very, very simple, very basic landing page. When you click on this, it's going to have someone fill in. I can't click on it because this is just it's a photo, but it's going to take you fill in a first name and an email. That's it. That's all she needs in order to create a retargeting list on Facebook, and also to get this free guide, which is a super high value guide walking people through her alignment method to each person. So that's your cover photo. Then for your profile photo, we want a clear, well-lit photo of you looking directly at the camera, smiling, no sunglasses. So that's kind of key, is we want people to be able to see your eyes. We want you to be smiling. And this is a friendly, inviting photo. Then here we have her value proposition statement right underneath her name. So in a lot of people's profiles, they have things like, yoga fanatic, dog mom, lover of sushi, real estate agent. Get rid of all of that. That will become apparent through your content. What we need here is something that's super punchy, super clear, and gives people exactly what they need as soon as they land on this page. People have about 2 to 5 seconds for someone to make a decision or determine whether you are for them or not. So we need to use this real estate on your Facebook profile very, very carefully. Then we go into relevant content, and your relevant content is going to live in your feed. It should be public. So private profiles, probably not the best thing. If you're worried about some of your friends and family and things like that seeing your real estate content, you can always segment your lists. A quick Google will help you. Just say, like, how do I create different lists in my Facebook profile? You'll find like YouTube videos that will show you exactly how to segment your lists so that you are determining what content goes in front of what people. And we're going to talk about content in a lot more detail. But again, if you want to take a screenshot of this, this is the I help statement. So I help who achieve what using or with name of your methodology. So Ashley, from those tweaks, she and this is a little bit of an old kind of case study. She just opened a brand new brokerage. She started in the business. Her first year that she made these changes, she made an extra $150,000 in GCI just from her personal Facebook. Now what we've done is we've really, really ramped that up. Her business is booming. She just opened a brokerage. She's starting a team. things are really, really, coming together for her. And these are some of the things that she said. I wanted to share how important your personal Facebook and business page are. I just got a new client that are my exact niche off of a community page referral. So, when somebody posts something in a community page saying, hey, I'm looking for a realtor, and like, there's like 1,000 realtors tagged, and you're like, I'm never going to get anything from this, and you move on. She consistently gets them. And it's because when somebody lands on her personal profile or clicks on the tag, it immediately goes to everything that we just saw and all of that information. And they're able to learn more about her, read her content, and download her guide and get more information about who she is and what she does. The other thing that she says here is I've tripled or quadrupled my business. I attribute a lot of my success to my social media presence and organic content. So it has really just compounded from there. So that's step one. That is your social profile funnel. Number two is your client-centric messaging. So messaging is really what is at the meat or at the base of all good marketing, right? So your marketing is getting you right now exactly what you're asking for. So if you have less than ideal clients coming to you from social media, or you don't have any clients coming from your social media, it means that something isn't speaking to them or something's not right. And so this is what it really comes down to. If you want better clients, you have to market to them in a way that they want to be spoken to. Your messaging and your marketing has to meet your ideal client or that person where they're at with the quality of problems that they have. So most agents make one of three mistakes. They make it all about them. They're trying to speak to everyone, or they're letting some third-party company post infographics and Canva things and templates and pictures of properties in their newsfeed, and they're not really creating their content themselves. And that is a massive, massive mistake, because honestly, the more vague your content is, the less it's actually going to work. So let's go into the first one. It's not about you, it's about your clients. So I know that this is your social media, and I know that there's an element here of, of course, thinking that, yes, of course, well, partially this is about me. Sure it is. But what I mean by this is when you wake up in the morning, instead of asking yourself, what do I want to post today? What you need to be asking yourself is, what does my ideal client need to hear from me today? And really flip it. Because as soon as you start to focus on them instead of on you, the messaging will shift. And all good marketing is a detailed and targeted message, right? The four things that we always want to be thinking about when we're creating messaging are pains, problems, fears, and desires. Those are all you need in order to create really, really good marketing. Now, the second mistake that we see is you're trying to speak to everyone. And this is a bit of a cliche. We've all heard this before, but if you're trying to speak to everyone, you're speaking to no one. And the reason for that is there are so many agents out there. There's so many. And I mean, in the market that I came from, I think now there's 60,000 licensed agents, like just crazy numbers. And if I'm saying the same thing that everyone else is saying, things like, I'm here for all of your real estate needs, or I can help you buy, sell, rent, and invest, it's not going to break through the noise. And you're just going to get filtered out into the sea of just another agent. So what we really need to do here is figure out, who are we speaking to? Who is that target demographic that we're creating our content for and that we're trying to really bring in through this marketing? And only then will you actually see results from it. So your marketing has to have an audience or a specific audience. You need to be speaking to a direct group of people who have a human problem. So I'm not saying things like condos or luxury or, I don't know, townhouses or, waterfront or anything like that. Those are not a human-based niche, and they don't allow you to use human psychology in order to actually create results in your marketing. And really, really good marketing, all it is being able to articulate what's in the back of your ideal client's head better than they can. When you can do that, that person will automatically credit you with having the solution and being able to, or you being the best person for them. That is why so many agents struggle with their marketing, is because they're not using human psychology and they're treating their marketing as a billboard. So a niche and a good niche is a group of humans with a shared problem: upsizers, downsizers, growing families, first-time buyers, dog owners living in condos, single professional women living in New York City. There's a million ways that you can niche down, but the transition, the life transition, has to be consistent and has to be the same. And the reason why so many people struggle is that most agents, not all, but most, don't actually truly understand what is the problem that are driving their clients' moves. People don't move because it's fun. We move because there's something in our current situation that's not serving us, and we want to solve that problem. And most of the time it's an emotional problem. We want to solve that problem with either a change in location or a change in the size of the home. So sum this all up, you want higher quality clients, you have to solve higher quality problems. So the solution, and how do you do this, is you interview, you do market research. And this, again, is something that most agents don't do. A lot of agents will sit at their desk and think, you know, what does my ideal client need to, like, what do they want? What do they worry about? What keeps them up at night? And they're asking themselves the question, but they're doing it from an angle, or they're doing it with a real estate hat on. What you really truly need to do is you need to interview and do market research. Any good marketer, doesn't matter if it's, you know, the best marketer in the world who works for Coca-Cola, that person or that company starts every single campaign, and every single decision is based on market research. So the same thing has to happen here. That's why I'm going to give you those questions at the end. So in order to really conduct a market research interview well, you never want to do it over email, because you will never get the depth of questions, or the depth of answers that you want through email. People will answer things very much on the surface. You ideally want to do it in person, over Zoom, or on the phone. And the key here is to probe further. Ask follow-up questions, things like, can you tell me more about that? Or, well, you know, what did that mean? The more you can probe, the more real information you're going to get. We're looking for 7 layers deeper, which is why email is never the right move. So strong messaging, once you actually craft that really strong messaging, it allows you to present a unique solution. So this is your product, okay? And every business has a product. So this allows you to create a signature system. You know, at the very beginning, when I showed you the value proposition statement slide, well, a lot of people were probably thinking, well, I don't have a methodology, or I don't have a signature system. Well, all of this leads up to, once you have your messaging, then you can create a system that removes you from just being, oh, he's just another agent, I'm going to use my cousin instead. Because you become the specialist in that area. And I don't mean location. I mean for upsizers, for downsizers, for first-time buyers, whatever your niche is. You get removed from that pool of, oh, he's just another agent who will take what he can get. So you're running a business, obviously, and all businesses provide products or services. So your signature system is your service. It is the thing that you do. A lot of the mistakes that we see are agents that sell themselves, and they sell themselves as magic. Not only does that make things really, really difficult to scale, but it also means that you're not actually providing a service that can be quantifiably valuable. There's nothing tangible there that people can say, well, this person provides this service that is a better fit for me than someone else, because you're just selling yourself. And there's nothing harder than just selling yourself. So when you create this super relevant messaging, you become the only person, or one of the only people, who's actually speaking directly to your ideal clients. And when you have inbound business, and when people come to you, there's no commission haggling. And I know that that's something that has been top of mind for a lot of people recently, because in a lot of markets, there seems to be this race to the bottom. You do not need to discount your commissions. We have people in our programs charging 8% for listings. And it's because those people are coming to them and saying, I've seen your stuff. You're the only person I want to work with. How do we get started? And when that happens, the quality of the business is better than referral quality. I know everybody wants to tell you that repeats and referrals are the only way to build your business. I am going to fight tooth and nail on that, because there is definitely better ways to get people to come to you. Should you have repeats and referrals in your business? Absolutely. And you should go after them. And that should be a pillar of the business, but it should not be your only way of generating business, especially in the beginning. So when you create all of this, and when you get that one happy ideal client who feels like you were in their head, it'll lead to another and another and another, and it creates a domino effect or a compounding effect. And this is where the exponential growth of business happens. So this is just another example of someone just grabbed a new listing. First thing the owner says, have we met? I watch all of your videos, so I feel like we have, but I don't actually think so. I didn't even have to pitch the business. I was hired as soon as I got out of the car. This is content and social media working for this person. I've been stopped several times by people who I didn't even know follow me on social media to tell me they love my content. I'm not even finished my first 30 pieces of content. I almost have the same amount of business in my active pipeline through mid-March that I closed all of last year. So that's 4 timesing her business in like less than a year. Just left a listing meeting. Wife says to me, I told my husband I didn't want to work with anyone but you. All of the videos you put out are like you're inside my brain. This is the result of people doing this well. So you've done the market research, you've built out your messaging, you understand deeply the pains, problems, fears, and desires. Now we come into step 3, which is the captivating and convincing content. But before we get into the what and the how, we have to address the number one thing that stops people from posting on social media, which is fear of judgment. And we all struggle with this. I don't care if you are Kim Kardashian. In the beginning, I promise you, she struggled with this too. So fear of judgment is definitely the thing that we worry about the most. It doesn't matter what you're posting about though. It can be a picture of your lunch. It can be a picture of your new sofa. It can be a picture of your listings. Everyone is judging. So really at the end of the day, what we have to understand and what we have to do is anybody who is unkind online, and trust me, I get the trolls. I get tons of them because I run a tremendous amount of cold traffic. I have large audiences. It comes with the territory. But the truth is when someone is unkind online, it has absolutely nothing to do with you. It has to do with them. And it means they're having a bad day or they're unhappy, or it's a reflection on them and not a reflection on you, which is a very hard mindset to kind of get around. But really, if you're rational about it, you know that that's true. And most of the people who you're going to work with, especially from social media, are not going to be the people like your best friend or your best friend's mom. It's going to be strangers or people that you haven't spoken to in a long time. And we can break audiences down into 2 different categories of people that we need. You need your sharers and you need your shoppers. So your sharers are people who like and engage and share your stuff. It's going to help you get in front of more people. They're the people who really, really love you and resonate with what you say, but they're not looking to move, which is totally fine. Then you have your shoppers, the people who are legitimately potential clients, especially in the short term. They will not like, they will not comment, and they will not engage in your content. They will show up in your inbox unannounced. I would say 95% of the people who have ever worked with me in my real estate business or in the listings lab have shown up, booked an appointment, showed up in my inbox unannounced, and I've never seen their name before. So keep this in mind when you're creating content. You're doing this for your business. You're doing this to be of service to your audience. And that one person who has something, unkind to say, those people's opinions are not going to matter in the long run. So again, before we get into this next section, I want to remind you, you have a ton of deals sitting in your warm social media network right now, but what do you need to post? That becomes the next question that we need to answer. I'm sure you've tried some of these. I'm going to poo-poo on all of them. Okay. Just listed, just sold. I'm never too busy for your referrals. Real estate memes from places like the Broke Agent. Honestly, never share those. Reposting content from other people, random infographic market updates, photos of houses. These don't work. And they don't work because they're not targeted to anyone. And your ideal clients don't care about things that don't pertain to them. We're all super selfish online. I'm the same way. I'm not going to spend time interacting or reading content or anything if it doesn't educate me or entertain me or is not super relevant to me, if I'm not going to get something from it. So this is just an example before we kind of run into exactly the 3 buckets of content that we want to use. Norm is a perfect example. He had a great business, but he wasn't seeing any results from social media. And he ended up going from 0 to 8 new clients from social media in 60 days. So he started creating content that spoke to his ideal clients. And in a 60-day period, he ended up with 8 new clients. And this is why. Number 1, we got crystal clear on who his ideal people were. We identified the biggest problems that person had. We identified his personal Facebook page as his main source of how he would generate that business or those leads. And he started consistently creating content to help and to attract his ideal client. So again, 60 days, 8 new clients. And these are not people who were like, oh, hey, I'm interviewing 10 people. Let's see if you're a good fit. They were messages like, my husband and I have been pre-approved for a mortgage of $400,000. We're ready to start shopping. Will you be our realtor? These are people who have already chosen him and who are coming to him. So let's talk about content. How do you break this down? How do you use human psychology in order to actually create these kinds of results? So we're going to break the pillars into 3: authority content, personal content, and social proof. Authority content. So what is it? There's a lot of people out there saying you have to post something that's of value. But a lot of the time they don't actually explain, what does value actually mean? Well, this is what it is. Authority content makes you credible. It's content that shows that you're an expert. It helps your ideal client to understand a part of your signature process. It helps them overcome an objection or a myth. So myth busting content is a really, really great content type. As an example of that would be, the truth behind open houses. Or what does sold over asking really mean? Actually shedding light on some of the cliches that so many people use in real estate, but that don't actually mean what we like to pretend they mean. Any question that a client asks you is authority content. If you're answering a question for a client, you can take that question and you can turn it into a piece of content. That will make your authority content super easy. So there's a lot of different ways to do this. You can do it a good combination of written and video content is going to be really, really helpful. So these are just some examples. Then we have personal content. Now, personal content is probably one of the most important content buckets, but one of the most underutilized. And I know you're a business, but personal content is why people make decisions. People make decisions emotionally before they make them logically. So personal content, number 1, reveals a piece of who you are, shares something that's happened in your life, so personal story, gives your opinion or philosophy on life or business, personal philosophy, shares with the world who you are outside of the job. People need to know you, like you, and trust you. We've all heard that a million times. But how can someone know, like, and trust you if they don't know anything about you? And all they know is you have listings. So this is really where we get to the base of things, where it's like, okay, people need an element of human resonance or affinity. People need to resonate with you as a human being in order to choose you. So these are just some examples. We have a couple of different ways of doing this. It's personal beliefs, personal philosophy, personal story. And those are going to be the things that really make a big difference. The last one, and this is one of my favorites. So your last content bucket is social proof. Social proof are case studies, testimonials, and PR or media. Okay. The reason why this works so well is So many agents use their social media to talk about how great they are. And to be honest, that doesn't really do a whole lot. And a lot of the time when you do that, the only people who are going to interact with that or who are going to like that are going to be other agents, or it's going to be like your family. Having someone else talk about how great you are, or having someone else talk about how you helped them with their journey and why you are the only person that they would want to work with, that is a lot more powerful. So that's where case studies and testimonials come in. And here's a little trick. Testimonials, always do it with a screenshot. Never put it into Canva or make it pretty. It becomes less trustworthy when it's been edited and it's been designed. Most people don't realize how many people out there fake reviews, which is really sad. But if you go into most Google reviews, I would say like 50% of them aren't real. So what we need to do is we need to make sure that we're showing people that these are not only legitimate, but you're also not hiding anything. So screenshots are a really great way of doing that. Are they beautiful? Absolutely not. Are they more trustworthy? 100%. Now, case studies. Case studies are things like this. A lot of my clients are in a similar situation as Jim and Laura. They needed more space after their first son. They'd been looking for the right house at the right price with room in their budget to make their own home improvements. What this is doing is it's telling the story of a client. But of course, this is going to allow you to go through your signature process, how you do things, how you helped them without coming across as bragging or tooting your own horn. If you think about why HGTV is such a popular network, it's because it's an entire network of case studies. We're able to live vicariously through the people that we're watching. And it's why case studies are also so important from a marketing standpoint. So we've talked about testimonials, we've talked about case studies. The last one is PR or media. PR or media is podcasts, articles that have been written about you, being quoted in the newspaper, all of these things. And so often people are like, oh, well, I have to wait until a journalist approaches me. It's absolutely not the case. There is a website out there called Help a Reporter Out. Reporters are content creators and they're constantly struggling for content. And so when you make it easier for them, you build a relationship with them. So as an example here, Justin was, an entire article was written about him in Authority magazine, which is super fun. So here's why this works, and here's why this is important. Not only is Justin now in front of all of Authority magazine's audience, but he's also able to use this piece of media to put in front of his current audience and build even more credibility and even more trust. So it works in two different ways. So to wrap things up, winning formula on social media, I added a last one: optimized profile funnel, client-centric messaging, captivating and convincing content, and consistency. I know that was a lot. I hope it was helpful. I would love to, Lawrence, if you have any questions that have come in, I would love to answer questions. If there's no questions, what I'll do is I'll also give everybody access to my email, and people can send me an email if you're struggling with any of this stuff. If you don't know how to choose a niche, I have an entire training that I can give you on how to choose a niche, how to make sure it's effective, and how to make sure it's going to work. So you know how there's that cliche of like, there's an app for that. We joke around at the Listings Lab that Jess has a training for that, whatever it is.
Yeah, well, thank you very much, Jessica. That was awesome. I am part of the Listings Lab, so there's a very good program if you're interested in that. If anyone has any questions, just put in the chat, or you could just pop up. One of the questions was really what you addressed at the beginning, which is, should we be focusing on TikTok or which platform?
That's a great question. Yeah, that's a great question. So when you're choosing a platform, the number one most important thing is, where are your ideal clients spending their time? It's not a matter of like, where is the next best social media platform? Like for example, I spend most of my free time on TikTok. So if someone wants to advertise towards me, they should be on TikTok because I'm going to buy whatever they're going to put in front of me, chances are. But for me, for my business, Facebook is still the best platform. So I create for Facebook, I consume on TikTok. So the question really isn't what's the best platform. The question really should be, where do my ideal clients spend the most of their time? And how can I then create and get my best content out in front of those people? So that I answered, but also didn't answer that question because I can't exactly tell you. It will depend on who you're targeting.
That makes perfect sense. And I think the philosophies you've been talking about apply to all the different platforms.
Absolutely.
Who you're targeting, but the specific
Yes.
platform probably doesn't matter except for maybe the medium that your ideal client is using. Ramit, you have a question you want to pop up and ask?
Yes, no, thank you so much, Lawrence. And it was really good. And I think I needed that. It was the perfect timing for me as well. So I have a question. You mentioned about using their personal profile or page
Yes.
for the Facebook instead
Yes.
of the business. And I have both. And so I don't open up all my friends, don't see all my friends. So is that a bad idea then?
So you have your personal profile on private? Is that what you're saying?
It is sort of private. Yeah, people can still find me. They can still find me. But you know how you can see all your friends and you can only see all your mutual friends.
Yep.
I have that kind of a setup, and then
that's fine. I mean, really,
Okay.
at the end of the day, that doesn't matter. What matters is
Okay.
that a stranger can land on your feed or
Okay.
can click on your profile, and that it's not private. They don't have to be friends with you in order to see your content. So
Okay.
because there will be people who will follow your page, but not necessarily friend you. And so people can still follow your personal profile. And it's important that people are able to land on your profile and see as much as possible so that they can make a determination of whether or not they want to interact with you or not.
And converting my current one, which has a lot of personal content and, you know, family information, does that sort of seem like a problem?
No.
Do you think? No. Okay. Okay.
No, not at all.
Okay. Okay.
Great. Another question here regarding sharing of articles. I guess it's more about the authority piece. I guess the specific question is it only real estate related articles or maybe volunteering, community, that kind of stuff? Do you feel that that is good to share from an authority point of view?
Sure. Absolutely. I mean, you know how they say like there's no such thing as bad PR? There is. But as long as it's positive, share it. Because if it's community based, if it's charity based, if it's, you know, whatever it is, you're still sharing part of yourself with your audience. And so it doesn't matter what that is, it's part of who you are and what you like, what you're doing. The key here is don't keep your marketing only business. You want to add as much personal aspects to it as possible too. And so if that's in media as well, fantastic.
And plus something like dog shelters or something might be your target audience anyway. So that might
and
be a good thing.
someone may absolutely love you for that. And that might be their thing that they resonate most with. And so yeah, absolutely. Share what you've got.
Sounds good. Next question, Bing, did you want to ask a question with Jessica?
Yes. Hi, Jessica. Thanks so much for this session. It's really interesting.
Oh, you're welcome.
I have two questions. The first one is really about specialization, and I completely agree with you that we should specialize to stand out. Now, there's so many niches out there, and I'm wondering, like, is it okay to have more than one, or do you recommend really have the one, you know, and then just kind of stick with it? Because I'm starting out, and I'm toggling between 2 or 3 niches.
You should start with one.
Just one. Okay.
Yeah, because the more niches you have, the more vague your messaging gets. And the more you can't target 3 different niches and not confuse your audience. you want to make it so that every single thing that you put out there is going to resonate with them. And when you try to do too many things, everything gets diluted. And then you basically, like, it's very, very quickly, you kind of end up getting filtered through the rest of the noise. It's kind of, I use this example a lot where I'll say, you know, if I had come on here and I was a general business coach and didn't really speak about anything to do specifically with real estate, this would be a lot less relevant to you guys. And, you know, especially if I said, you know, I work with, you know, real estate, you know, any service-based business, you would probably say, well, you know, yeah, I got a couple things from it, but it wasn't really targeted to me. That's exactly what we're like, the risk that you run. And it's almost impossible. It's almost impossible to create this kind of result with more than one niche at a time.
Great. Okay. So, and also I have another question follow up too, is that I just started business accounts on both Instagram and Facebook, and really haven't done much with it.
Okay.
And of course, organically, like I would say 99% of the people start following me are realtors. So I feel like, am I
Clean house?
So I mean, like, I feel like I'm not really sharing, like, if I'm gonna put work into the content, I don't know if they're like, I appreciate the follows and I appreciate the support. I mean, is it the right audience to be putting content?
No.
So yeah.
Usually what I tell people at the beginning of when someone comes into the listings lab, we actually get them to kind of clean their profiles. Especially your personal Facebook profile, unless you have an agent who is like your best friend or like someone who you're quite close to, get rid of them all. Okay. Honestly, what they're going to do is there's two things that will happen. They will either, like, your content won't be relevant to them, and therefore like the interactions and the engagements will be low. And then number two, they'll just copy what you're doing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of copying in the real estate space. So, you know, I think a lot of agents follow other agents just to see what they're doing. Yeah. So realistically, you also want to make sure that you're filling your audience with potential clients. So yeah, I would definitely say, like, having an audience full of agents is not really good. It's not going to do anything for your business. They're not going to work with you.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm just thinking, I'm putting, like, how much effort do I want to create good content that will benefit the end user, but not necessarily, like, you know, like,
if you're creating content that other realtors resonate with, then you're actually making a content mistake. So a lot of the time when we see things that other agents are posting, they're actually, without even really realizing it or unintentionally, they're creating content for other agents and not for their ideal clients. And when you have an audience full of other agents, it's a slippery slope.
Right. Okay. So you would recommend, if all these agents trying to add me, it's not the best idea.
Especially on your personal profile, just don't add them as friends.
Okay.
Another question that I think would be good here would be someone who's starting out, rookie, got no money, got no time, need a lot of business. You know, how relevant is the things that you're talking about versus, I need to get a deal. I need to get a deal right now. I don't have much money to do all this. I don't have any clients to interview. You know, what would you say to a rookie?
You still have people to interview, right? So if you don't have any past clients, then you have friends and acquaintances and family and things like that. You can still do the market research. I actually have a program for brand new agents, and the actual initial process of the foundations of their marketing is the same, because it doesn't matter what you're doing from a business standpoint. Even like, this is actually probably going to be the fastest way to generate business rather than the cold calling and door knocking angle. And a lot of agents get into the business thinking, oh, I have this huge network of friends and family. But I mean, I don't think that anything should be tested on friends and family, to be honest. Like, do you want your very first deal to be your best friend that you might make a mistake on? Right? Like, so realistically, like, I would rather not do things like that. So, you know, I really think that using social media as a tool is not only going to be the most efficient, but also the fastest way to actually grow. And it's free.
Yeah, for sure. It's free. So that always helps. You don't have to, no paid advertising, that kind of stuff. Another thing that you did mention and was also in your book was that you're highly introverted, which I find very interesting.
I am.
And I guess for the people who are in the same boat who just don't want to pick up the phone, don't want to talk to people, want to hide underneath their covers in their bed and not go out of the house. You know, what do you say to those people and how did you overcome that kind of thing? Because a lot of your marketing and that kind of stuff, I would say most people would feel that you aren't introverted.
It's because I have, just like any introvert, you have a limited amount of energy, right? My team always jokes around that I have a limited amount of humaning that I can do, right? And then everything else has to be made super efficient. So if you're building your business by door knocking and cold calling and networking and like having one-on-one conversations, you're going to burn out really fast. And I learned that very, very early. I also got my license when I was 21. So I was introverted, super young. And, you know, I had to figure out a way for it to work for me. So I used to call it prospecting for my PJs. And I would use digital marketing and online because what it allowed me to do was create a piece of content once and reach 1,000 people as opposed to having to have 1,000 conversations. And it allowed me to really leverage the energy that I do have. Like I can come and I can be with you guys and I can turn it on for an hour. But if I had to be in a room with, you know, thousands of people every day and like talking to people all day, every day, I would be an absolute basket case at the end of every day. And so a lot of it just comes down to managing your energy. And so that's one of the reasons why I developed the system in the first place, was because it allowed me to be successful, create the compound effect of a larger and larger scalable business without having to expend so much energy every day.
So really you have a reserve of quality time that you can spend towards humaning. And then you sort of just work around that, I guess, just
100%,
understanding yourself.
100%. Like I spend a tremendous amount of time laying on my couch reading books because like that is where like I am happiest. But everything in my business is systematized. Some of it is like we have automations built in, we have the content, we have, you know, content repurposing that happens so that I maximize the amount of energy that I actually spend putting out.
But I guess I'd like to also add that at the end of the day, you still have to go and talk to people and do something.
Yeah. I mean, everyone who I speak to is either in our programs or who is an inbound, someone who is inbound. We don't do any outbound marketing or any outbound chasing. So it's all people who want to talk to me, who are like reaching out to say, I've seen your stuff. I want to learn more. I want to know more. How can you help me? Like it's a very different dynamic.
Another question here was about your thoughts on paid ads, I guess, or in this case, paid boosting, but ignore the boosting part, just paid ads versus, I guess,
so
organic.
I mean, everybody knows, and I'm very, very, very vocal about the fact that I think boosting is burning your money. We don't teach boosting. I think that most people boost because they don't really know how to run campaigns. If you are going to use paid traffic, it should only be after your content and your messaging has been vetted organically, meaning it's already working. You already have inbound business coming from the messaging that you're using, and then you put money behind it. Way too many people are throwing spaghetti at the wall and wasting money on paid, on any kind of paid marketing. And that's why I get all the time, Facebook ads don't work. And I'm like, no, Facebook ads work pretty beautifully. I've built an 8-figure business off of Facebook ads, but Facebook ads don't work if you don't know how to use them. And I don't think that Nike and Coca-Cola and Apple would be running Facebook ads if they didn't work. So I really think that it's an important thing to distinguish that if you don't do the foundational work, you will never be able to get the results that you want from the paid marketing side of it. The paid marketing is the fuel after you've lit the fire.
That makes sense. I mean, you don't want to just start putting money in ads when you don't have a proven advertising, you know?
I see all kinds of things. Like sometimes I feel like, oh, I'll see an ad come up and it's like a boosted ad of it that looks like someone's business card. And I'm like, oh my gosh, someone spent money on that. right? Like they could have done so many other things without, even if it's $5, it's a 100% wasted $5. And, you know, it also, I think sometimes what people are boosting, or people are running in paid ads, is actually making them look worse rather than better, because it shows that they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, for sure. Bing, did you have another question?
I have a lot of questions.
Well, let's just keep it to like one more,
Yeah,
I
sorry.
guess.
I only have one more minute. I am doing a
Okay.
podcast right after this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
sorry. No worries. I'm just gonna. So the last question is about like really the aggregation of a content.
Yes.
So you mentioned like, you know, figuring your messaging and you know, have all this great content that resonate with your audience. And I'm just wondering, what's your recommendation in terms of where to host this content? Like, would you recommend creating a personal website for yourself to host the content?
No, this is just for social media.
Okay, so this is just for social media. You have this great content and you keep it in your notebook or whatever.
Well, no, you keep it. I mean, like when you create it, put it in a Google Drive folder if that's where you want to create. And
Right.
then from there, you can use it and post it as you see fit.
Okay. And in terms of like social media, when you're driving to a destination where you can download the guide and all that stuff, you would say this is something that you would need to house it somewhere else on a platform where people can, a landing page.
Yeah,
where
just a
people-
landing page. You can use lead forms, you can use Unbounce. If you have a business website, you can have it be a link on your business website.
Okay.
yeah, there's a lot of good ways. So thanks a lot. So
Thanks.
Jessica, how can people reach you?
You can send me an email at jess@thelistingsLab.com. I'll just type it in the chat so you could grab it. And then that would probably be the best if you have more questions. If you want to join my Facebook group, it's just called the Listings Lab Method for Real Estate Agents.
That's awesome. Well, thank you very much for joining us today, Jessica. I know
Thanks,
you got to
guys.
run, and so do I. Again, I'm Lawrence Mack, founder of Real Estate Rookies and a broker out of Mississauga in Toronto. Talk to you
Thanks,
next time.
guys.
Bye.